The NeuroDADverse podcast is produced by Squid Shack Studios.
Hey, I'm Ben.
And I'm Dan.
We're both fathers,
We're both married.
and we're both raising kids with diagnosed neurodiverse conditions.
Parenting is tough, and we're not saying it's harder for us, just different.
And sometimes that different can be hard to explain.
That's why we've created the NeuroDADverse, a weekly show where we share our wins, our challenges, and all the neurosparkly and neurospicy bits in between.
Our hope is to create a safe space for parents to share their own highs and lows of neurodiverse parenting. And just to remind you of three things.
You're doing great,
You are enough.
and you're definitely not alone.
So welcome to the NeuroDADverse. All right, hello. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, man. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm not going to rank it because we'll get into things. But yeah, things have been a bit busy and complicated. How's your weekend been?
Warm. Yeah, a little bit challenging, I suppose. We can talk about it, I suppose.
What a British podcast we are. Let's just talk about the weather and complain either way, right?
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Well, something came up that we thought was topical that we want to talk about. So before we get into ranking on NeuroDADverse weeks, you sent me the what did I send you? Can't remember now. But Chris Packham talking about the government's prevent training, or Ofsted specifically's prevent training manual for inspectors who are going into schools to look out for how schools are dealing with prevent. And I said, "Oh, Dan, that's really interesting. Like, I've done that training." Turns out I haven't, because I'm not a school inspector. But what I had done was the compulsory training that all teachers have to do at the start of each year to refresh their understanding of how to spot students who might be at risk or developing issues with extreme ideologies. So that covers a number of things: extreme right-wing ideologies, extreme left-wing ideologies, particularly some Islamist terrorism, as they call it. And it's just to kind of spot some of those things. And as part of that training, there's some kind of narrative videos about an actor saying, I was radicalized in this particular way. But as it goes through the story, there's some pause points. It says, what can you identify as some issues? And then there's another part of the video that tells you the end of the story. Now, any of that type of video training is tough for someone like me who teaches media and film, because I'm super hypercritical, and I'm very conscious that as we go through this and we start talking about narrative and construction, you and I could go off into a complete other podcast, which, whilst fun, is not what we're here to do. So try and keep us on track. I thought I'd mention it. And as I did that training, at the start of the year, I was enraged in my little staff room in between the classes. And I was like, this is ridiculous. You've done this training. Actually, retelling this story, I'm thinking that maybe there's some neurodiverse traits that came out of me at that point, because I was really enraged. But basically, the story of the character is that he starts off saying, my parents were together, and we used to, one of my favorite things to do was have a family Sunday roast with them. But then my dad was in the army. The story develops over time, and things got difficult for him. He lost his job, and then he moved away. So mum remarried, and there's some tensions there going on for this kid. Gets bullied at school, and ends up finding some friends through army cadets, who then invite him to a group at a library, who then develop kind of some ideologies, some anti-immigrant ideologies, and it becomes a far-right story. Okay. The second part of the thing is that you see that they get a support worker involved, like a mentor, gives them some support, and they end up at the end of the thing saying, "Oh, I'll get on with my stepdad now." We all even have Sunday roasts. So out of the way, get it out of the way. That narrative for me is far too neat. It's like, oh, just get involved with us and we'll make everything better. I would prefer it to be two things can be true. Like, you can challenge your ideologies and other stuff in your life can be tough, but fine, it's a government thing. I'm not going to get into the weeds about that. The bit, and I wrote it down, the bit that is complicated for it is I said he was having trouble at school, this kid. He says he'd always loved cadets. His grandfather and father were in the army. He then says the kids make fun of me at school when we're made to read out loud. The school made me go for a test for autism. I was so angry. I knew I wouldn't be able to join the army now. Okay. And that's the only sole that's the only sole mention of autism in the whole video, right? And I was enraged and I said, well, the only thing I can do about this is write on the feedback form and also write to my DSL, which is called the Designated Safeguard Lead in Schools. I can just say, hey, I've written this. I didn't know your thoughts, but I thought it was concerning. I didn't know any other staff members who had an issue with it. We've got neurodiverse and autistic staff, so no. But anyway, it got out completely out of my mind because I thought I've said my piece. I'm sure they'll take the feedback. It just didn't seem like it fitted. Like I don't have an issue with us talking about neurodiverse people and radicalisation, but it just stuck out as a sore thumb. Like I'm not even sure. Like the phrasing of the actor was also, I'm not blaming them, but it just felt very much like I don't even know if that's true. I should have done a bit of research maybe before we came on, but like I don't know if you can't join the army if you like on your literacy levels alone. Or if you're diagnosed, like it doesn't really matter to me. But my point was, like, when it came up with the Chris Peckham stuff this week, I just thought, oh yeah, I felt really, really passionate about that training video, and like, it was so odd to do it in my workplace that is usually such an understanding place. But
Mm.
hey,
Was-
we're in a spot that we're learning and we're feeding back. Sorry, I've talked for too long.
No, I was going to say, it's not your workplace, obviously. It's the training that your workplace then had to. So, yeah. I mean, I don't feel that that's a thing. Again, haven't researched because we're talking about it now. I don't feel being diagnosed on the spectrum would be a reason not to be in the army. I'm pretty sure the army would love some people on the spectrum to do particular
Yeah,
jobs because if you are,
yeah. Well, all
if
stereotypes aside, lots of different people with lots of different brains have lots of different skills.
exactly.
Um, so yeah, I think it's again one of those scenarios where you see things through a narrow window, which you don't like neurodiversity. I mean, through a narrow window, and uh, and also I think it's one of those scenarios where you wouldn't really expect Ofsted and Department for Education to have a narrow window.
Mm,
Yeah,
no,
I mean, anyone can sign up for the prevent training, so maybe have a look at it. Maybe I'll go too over the top on it, but I just didn't feel like it was just on a filmmaking narrative basis. Didn't feel like it had any addition to the narrative. Like he could have, like the character could have been being teased for not wanting to read out loud. They couldn't have. He couldn't have mentioned the autism, and the whole story would have continued to flow. So it felt like incongruous. And then that comment, which is about special interests and there being more susceptible, which is in the document, the guidance for people who are going to inspect schools, is is obviously like linked together. The training was obviously kind of constructed in the same way. Um,
well, I mean, it sounds like uh, so obviously, yeah, our backgrounds were both film people. It sounds like exactly what you just said, that halfway through this training video, they're like, oh, we need to reference this. And they've done a really terrible job of potentially referencing something. I'm not even sure they necessarily need to reference. Um, but yeah, I suppose it's more for me listening to that. If I was watching that, obviously now me watching that, if I was in that training, I'd again be particularly critical potentially around the actual production of it and the storytelling. But I'm actually more sort of worried about, which I think is what you're more worried about, is you're showing these to staff members on if young adults that are late teenagers, early 20s, whatever, they might not have any understanding around neurodiversity because it just
yeah, yeah,
hasn't been a part of their life. To just have that little comment there, that will probably be their only sort of input into the spectrum. that's really damaging to have that kind of like, oh, my cousin's autistic, and then they turn around and be like, he's or she's going to be
Yeah,
radicalized.
yeah,
You
yeah,
need to
yeah.
watch out. Like that's kind of the, and I feel like that's probably what's outraged me more is like we have a knowledge and base to go off and be like we can argue that point, but someone that has no idea, they're
Yeah.
now just going to be hunting around for potential people on the spectrum, or oh, this person's
Well,
OCD. Oh, they watch them. Like that's really bad.
yeah, I mean,
And also, what does that mean about the inspectors then? If this is for school inspectors, are they literally just going around going, show me all your autistic kids? And then
uh,
asking them some questions? Like, how does that actually work?
uh,
I know that's a difficult answer. So
I
don't
think
answer it
the
this way.
no,
It's
no, no.
hypothetical.
I think the podcast question when we go down a route of what's the Ofsted inspection process like is longer than the film narrative one. So maybe a different one at a different time. But essentially, yeah, I had that same sad. Like I had like I wanted to advocate. I was like, no, this is complicated. And listen, maybe there's some data backed up. There's possibly some people. Maybe there's a percentage of people referred to prevent. However, I did read a couple of articles, and the articles were saying, well, no, really, like Ofsted haven't asked the government of national statistics for that part of the data. So, but you know, you never know where you're at. But yeah, like, listen, I think we're in a world where people are identifying that and going, well, this doesn't seem right, and kind of saying that's not the case. But yeah, I know there are some other kind of podcasts and people in this space talking about it. So I thought it was worth pointing out. Like I'd done training which that relates to, and yeah, it's a bit odd. Um,
Well, I think
but
we should I'll edit it into the show. I'll be like, if you here's the clip that kind of went
yeah,
viral in at least our landscapes around Chris Packham
yeah, and
having
maybe
a
let's
rant.
yeah, nice, and maybe let's signpost some people who are doing maybe this in a professional space that have done a little bit more research. Not to say that we haven't done it, but it was worth popping up because we had a little bit of a personal connection to it.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
yeah. Now just wondering if I had like a really, really high um sense of a feeling of injustice and
Justice.
maybe just uh ooh, I hadn't
Yeah.
considered thinking about that today. But it does link into my week a little bit in terms of how I'm feeling. But do you want to do I can't remember where we're at. Is it you asking me 3 words or me asking you?
Well, yeah, I can ask you. Just you can have a swig of tea or water, wherever it is, to rehydrate
Uh
yourself.
it's coffee. But
Coffee.
afternoon coffee, I know.
Oh. So yeah, your week in 3 words.
Uh,
Nice, ponderous.
I never prep it. Why do I never prep it? Um,
It's your question. I mean, why would you prep it?
uh, oh, let's think about it. Um, it has been. I'm going to go joyful first because there was some more football related celebrations for Mabel, which was just great. It's just a story in resilience this whole year, and it's topped off with some awesome stuff, and she's really feeling that, so it's really good. Um, I'll go disparate because I didn't look after myself on Tuesday, and then I was not very well. Because when I say that, I'll be clear. I did not drink enough water. Spent the whole day in class going, everyone got some water. Okay, fine. You need to go do your water now. Make sure you get your water. Get your water. Air conditioning in my room is great because it's a computer room. Very, very lucky and very thankful. Didn't look after myself. Crashed at home. Very unwell. Don't need the details. But yeah, and so
That's a
that made the week gotta go
Mhm.
the first part and the second part. So joyful, disparate, uh, busy. There is a lot going on in the household of my in the world of my household, my NeuroDADverse. So busy, which
Mm.
is positive, negatives, but we'll get into that. That was more than 3 words, but anyway, you got the key headlines. What about you, my friend?
Yeah. So I've had an interesting week this week. I suppose 3 words to describe it. I'm going to go for eye-opening, humbling, and progress. It's not quite. I don't know how I want to articulate that, but yeah, like again, it's a lot of
Okay.
little bits and bobs have
Okay.
happened. So
Maybe it's because I know the long read of my article, but if you put both of them in front of me in terms of a clickbait fashion, I want to hear about yours. Do you want to? Do you want to kick off with either a win or a challenge? I don't mind where we go today, but
okay, yeah, okay. Oh, well, just going back to
I
your
particularly like that. Go on, go on. I particularly
just
like the
going
word
back to your
humble.
week. Okay, I'll start. Well, I suppose I've kind of got a win of the week, a challenge of the week, a moment of joy of the week, and a eyes opened for the week,
Ah,
which
he's
is my best.
expanding. He's expanding the format. He's expanding the format.
So okay, so
It's fine. I
context is
don't mind.
everything. No. So obviously the wins, I always allocate the wins and the challenges purely to parenting, and then I'm like moments of joy and eyes
Uh,
opening is more about me reflecting as a parent. But
okay.
I'm not saying you have to copy that format, but that is what has informed my 3 words. Um, but I was just going to say on your ones, when you say you're
Yeah.
not looking after yourself, actually that is a potential neurodiverse trait as well. Leaders normally eat last or drink last, so
Uh,
I am the same. I look after other people, forget about myself, and so yeah, maybe you're just having a
I'm uncomfortable. It's okay. I'm uncomfortable with all of these traits being identified. But I will go on the journey. Um, yeah, wherever it takes me. But thank you for flagging. Um,
well, I think it's a nice one. Not saying that there are. Well, I suppose everything has an up and a down, but one of my things that I feel that I'm on the spectrum is I'm really empathetic. So I think about others over myself all the time, or a lot of the
yeah.
time. It's really hard for me to actually be selfish, especially if I'm going to be selfish and it will potentially upset others. That can be quite challenging. So I'm like, if I'm meant to be doing something and then something happens and someone else, I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, like I live in a very I don't want to say I compromise life all the time, but I'm always willing to compromise to try and make things easier for other people because if everyone else is happy, then I can be happy, then I can do what I want, and then that. So yeah, just trying to keep everyone else happy around me can then allow me to relax, chill, and do what I want. So
Uh,
I don't think that's a bad thing as long as you
oh,
can manage it.
there's no
So
there's no bad or good, but I am definitely knitting some things together when you're talking. Um, but yeah, I guess what I'm feeling immediately now is I don't know, maybe some denial about that because it kind of comes into my challenge of the week a lot.
okay,
Um,
well,
but
I
yeah,
just
that's
thought I'd highlight.
no, man. That's I appreciate, really appreciate. Um, where are we going then? Where your win or challenge? Where do you want to start?
Um, I'll start with the challenge. Because
Okay.
I'd always prefer to end on good news or better news. So
Well,
my
there's good.
challenge,
There's
yeah,
one way of doing storytelling.
that is my preferred way of storytelling. So my challenge this week in NeuroDADverse has been really, um, it's a combination of yes, the weather. Obviously, it's been hot, but combining that with a child that's I think teething again. He's been chewing a lot
Okay.
more this week. We've actually been taking some medication, so I offer it to him, and he actually takes it, which normally implies. Um, and obviously the spin-offs of that. So it's hot, and he's potentially got a bit of niggly pain, so the sleep gets affected a little bit. He is going to bed, but just later. We're back to having that 50-50. Is he going to get in the bath or not? Like just before the pod, he did not.
Okay.
So we're having to do like washing outside of the bath. Um, but yeah, so it's just that a number of factors again, all just having their little effect, build up, and then can just interrupt your day. Um, it's been a good week. It's just, yeah, it's one of those. He's hot. He gets a little bit hungry slash hangry, and obviously his teeth. So it's just been trying to manage that to try and keep him in his best routine that we can have. Basically, that's
Do,
been my biggest challenge this week.
do you mind me dipping into
Of
asking
course.
you? Um, obviously that's quite raw if you say you've just come from that experience, but why is it so challenging for you? Not to say that it's not, but like how do you experience it? Because obviously it feels like there's a lot of let's try and do this, didn't achieve. Let's try and do this, didn't achieve.
Hmm.
And that build up can be quite stressful. So I just wanted to know how it was landing for you.
Yeah, no, totally. And that's I say it's just lots of little things that sometimes can just make you feel like, are you winning the week? Like one of my sayings I end all my conversations and my email thread is like, wish you a winning week, or I hope you won the week if it's Friday. I try and spread positivity because then obviously
Mm,
it keeps you positive. Um, I haven't been feeling too negative about it. It's not like upset me or put me in bad moods per se, but obviously it is warm. And obviously, when it's warm, it starts to wear you down a little bit. So I definitely feel like it could have gone worse. It's just been in terms of parenting this week. That has been our biggest challenge is I'm trying to deal with him in pain and he's actually showed me, which is kind of a win, but it's not my main win of the week. This morning, for instance, he was sitting downstairs. We were watching telly. He was getting a bit, I don't want to watch this. So we watch YouTube on the telly, and he will either, if I just use my mouse as a, so this is the remote control, I'll put something on, a train video. If he doesn't like it, within 5 seconds, he'll be slapping my hand. All right, I'll put another video. Cool. If we like that video, he then takes the remote out of my hand, takes it over where he is, or if he's sitting next to me, just puts it by the side of him. He's like, "Don't you dare turn this over." As soon as he doesn't like it again, he hit like nudges me, gives me the remote, turn it over. So he was getting like we were cycling through videos like every
it's
20 seconds. I'm like,
it's
babe, what is on? What is going on? And
I'm gonna
then
come in. Can I come in quickly?
yeah, yeah, go.
That is great communication. What behavior is communication?
Yeah,
I've used that
100%.
phrase ever since I have diagnosis, and that is great. And you it's really great, mate.
Yeah, he's really, really
Sorry, go on.
physical with it. No, it's fun. So we're literally like normally it'll be 2 or 3, and I'm like, all right, at the moment we're really since we've been on holiday, he loves watching planes land and take off. And I'm very grateful to all the many hours of YouTube videos that people have kindly uploaded in these different areas. So planes, trains, water parks, and sometimes just some random walk around of theme parks and roller coaster rides and stuff like that. So they're usually our main flavors. I must have gone through 30 of these videos in like 5 minutes. Nothing was working for him. And at this point I'm like, babe, you know, what's happening here? We eventually find one that he's happy with. He then goes and takes himself over to the other side of the sofa. I leave it for a few seconds. I check my phone and go, oh God, it's only like 9:10. This could be a long day. And then I look over at him and he's sitting there like this. And I was like, are you okay, babe? And he looked at me and I was like, you're in pain, aren't you? Have you got a headache? Have you got toothache? And then I thought I'd leave it a few minutes because he didn't say anything. Then he went and got a toy and started chewing it when you've got toothache. Went and got the medicine. He took the medicine. After about 10, 15 minutes of him holding his head, the medicine obviously kicked in. He felt better. He then relaxed more. He then started to enjoy the telly and we got on with our day. I should also point out, Amy's been away Friday night, all the Saturday,
Oh,
and come
okay,
back about 1 o'clock ish today because she was out doing some 40th birthday
okay,
experiences with friends. So
okay.
um,
So it's
it was
solo.
just us.
So it's solo. So you can't tag team it as much. Yeah, I
Mm.
remember
So yeah,
a lot of that.
he and annoyed, and I'm like, I'm trying to help you here, but that means I can't do something else. So when he got to being hungry and he wanted something, you then have to choose. Usually I try and make him happy first. I'll be like, here's something to watch. Then
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
go get you your drink, or then I'll go get you your food
That
because it doesn't
juggle,
work the other way.
that juggle. I remember it so well. Um, it's tough, man. Yeah, I can see how that would have been tough for you. You said takes some medication to that. I've got a slight comical memory, but do you like go through like whatever it is on the spoon?
Calpol with the plastic syringes they now
Oh
give
yeah,
you
yeah.
in the mouth.
Are
Yeah,
you doing that?
yeah.
Okay, so
Can't do
Os-
spoons, man. It will go everywhere.
yeah, well, a little story about that's what we thought. Oscar wouldn't like it move away when it was like when the syringe was there,
Mm.
and one day just grabbed it and went bang. Oh, we were like, this is amazing. He will
Oh, okay.
like, oh, it's amazing. Laura's like, "It's so good. He'll take it. Watch." And I came over. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, I think we might even high five in the kitchen. You'll know what I mean. Like when you have one of those,
It's a win.
yeah, little wins. Like, yeah, great, great. I was at home soloing it one day. I was like, "Yeah, he's been really good. I've been giving him the syringe, no problem." Laura comes into the front room and goes, "What's on the ceiling?" There were these two blobs of Calpol clear on the ceiling where he'd gone. However, I would maintain he can't have been that much in pain. It's just that he wanted to work out what it was. It was a very, very, very amusing time. And it just took me back with you saying give him medication. So
That's amazing.
that's good.
That's amazing.
But yeah,
Yeah. No, that's cool. Yeah, I suppose with Frank, that's how we know that there is some. He has managed to work out that makes him feel better, but it took us a long time to get him to want to take any medication. We did the
yeah.
classic sort of. I don't know. I would say spike sounds the wrong word, but like would put it in his juice,
Yeah.
try to get him to drink it, or you put it in ice cream, try to get him to. That's how we used to do it when he was a bit younger. But yeah, at some point he just connected the dots. But I will offer him stuff; and he'll just pay away. So the fact that he took it was obviously reinforced. But that's the first
Yeah,
time I
I mean,
really noticed he was impacted.
how I mean, I was just going to say that absolute world class detectives, in my experience with neurodiverse kids, particularly Oscar, but also I know friends of people who've got neurodiverse for like texture and taste and specifics. Um, we have very, very rigid, very, very restricted diet. We always have. Um, I don't know how or why, but he'll eat strawberries
Yeah, Frank does. Yeah. Loves fruit.
and but like only strawberries. I mean, it gets complicated, but and then like cocktail sausages, he'll eat those.
Frankie will eat them as well. Yeah.
Exclusively only Tesco ones. We have
Oh,
tried that.
okay.
We have tried the whole thing, and the kid is like a super sleuth. So all that kind of I'll hide it in here, I'll hide it in there. No,
Mm.
no. So yeah, I get the balance, but
Well, we had lucky. It was lucky for us that he kind of worked out the syringe because we got to a point where um it's really only Calpol that he takes. A few times we've taken him to A&E and different discussion for a different pod, but they were like, "I'll take these antibiotics," and they're either the fluorescent yellow one, which I think tastes okay, and then you get the pink one, which I think is even I can't stomach that. I think that's bad. So we got to the point where he will only eat obviously certain foods. They like he has to take this 4 times a day. We're like, all right. We tried with the syringe. He would instantly projectile it all up when this isn't good.
yeah,
So he did. He started to put it into his food, and yeah, we'd put it in front of him. He would look at us and be like, push it away, like because he can smell it because he's so strong. And then I had a thought. And I said, "Aim, actually, do you think this is a good idea? Because all we're doing is basically to him, like poisoning or tainting his favorite food, and he's not eating that much anyway." So we kind of had to put a stop to it because I was like, I would rather my kid eat as opposed to. And yeah, whenever he's been ill enough to have antibiotics, I think he's had two. He's been offered 2 or 3 courses. He's never had more than one. If he takes it, he projectile vomits. So
well,
we just have to get through it like naturally with Calpol and whatever else. But yeah, that is a real challenge. Yeah, if anyone listening has come up with a great way of trying to give their kid medicine when they don't want it, I'd love to hear it. Yeah.
neurodiverse or neurotypical. I think.
I mean, I
Um,
couldn't swallow pills until I was, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, maybe like 20,
Blimey.
25. I just never, I didn't go to the doctors. I didn't get all that much. I generally get, if I get a couple of bad weeks in a year where it kind of, I'll catch like
Yeah,
4
yeah.
colds in like 3 weeks. Um, but yeah, it's not something I've ever usually had to do. And it took me ages. So if he's
Yeah,
anything
man.
like me, it's going to take ages to get him to swallow pills. But yeah, so that was my challenge. What was
okay.
do you want to do a win or a challenge? And then we'll go back to my win.
I think I'm going to do my win because it's quicker. And maybe we'll just dovetail it like that.
Mhm.
Just had quite a good results with communicating boundaries with Mabel about her going out with her friends and times coming back. And it's hot. We live by the seaside. So there's a lot of people out having a lot of grown-up experiences, a lot of pubs, that type of stuff. So we want to try and make sure she's aware, but also we aren't super strict and we are doing that thing I really love that I'm keeping in my mind quite a lot, that we are, as parents, you're not the engineers of your child. You don't just make the child and then at the end of the 18-year conveyor belt, they are this person that you've wanted to build because they're a human being, right? So you're, rather than an engineer, you're a shepherd. And you're just going, why don't you try going through this gate? Oh, that gate wasn't so good. Come back. So I've also been teaching her that kind of phrase that like the boundary is something you set for yourself, not someone else goes, you shouldn't do that. A boundary is, I'm only ever going to do that, or I'm not going to. So I've been trying to have really polite, calm conversations and go, well, what time are you setting for your boundary? She'll say to me, I'll say, okay, but if it's that time, what route are you going to take? So she gets to hopefully learn her boundaries are, because what I want to say is, I don't want you walking that way, like seafront where all of the revelry is happening at a certain time. And also I don't want to say, I want you back at this time, because I don't think her neurodiversity will like go, oh, I'm in charge of my own self and like, well, sorry, I shouldn't say neurodiversity because we're going through a pathway, but like, the traits that we see. So we're trying to kind of do it alongside her. And there's just been some really, really good wins. Like it hasn't resulted in a emotional outburst and argument. It has been respectful. She's been able to come in and be 3 or 4 minutes late, but offer and go, I'm late because, and like launch into a dialogue about her friend had to get the bus and the bus was late, so she didn't want to leave her at the bus stop on her own. I was like, and then I can go, oh, that sounds like a reasonable, and I don't really mind if the story's like true or not. I'm just happy that she doesn't come in and go, I'm late, don't be mad at me, you know? So there's some really good emotional regulation and some boundary setting. And but that's a win. That's quite a good win. That's quite a good win, to be honest, because spending a whole professional time with teenagers and trying to encourage those boundaries. But actually, as a teacher, you do have to put yourself in a position of like, please give the work in here. I will check it here. It's a kind of counterintuitive process when you're parenting for me, because we don't want to, hey, there's no one way to parent, but how we would like to parent is to shepherd her through and it be her, she works out the world for herself. So yeah, that's been a big and good win. I'm cautious that I'm just said that and she currently is out while I'm podcasting, so maybe I'll feed it back next week. But yeah, it's a tough balance. But we have had a good week with it.
No, it's amazing to hear, man. Yeah, I know you say all communication is good good communication to a point.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's sharing rationale as opposed to, yeah, I'm late, live with it. So yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
it's
I would be exactly the same if that were if that was Frankie and he went, I didn't want to leave my friend because that's compassionate, that's
yeah,
empathetic. Okay. And if it's a liar, then it's at least it's a good story, which is always going to win me over. So
yeah. Creative kids are what we all want. Got a question or want to share a story? Drop us a message on Instagram or email us at NeuroDADverse@gmail.com. Look after yourselves. Right, pal. So we're going to get back into your win then. Yeah?
yeah, so my win, much shorter than my challenge, people might be glad to hear. It actually literally just happened about 40 minutes, half hour before the pod recording. Because I was sitting there going, what is my win going to be? And I was like, do I do about the communication? Which was earlier today as well. But so tried to do bath time before the pod. Didn't quite happen on this occasion. He's just not feeling it, whatever. But bath was run. Amy was in there. I was standing outside. He's running around in our bedroom. Amy said something around, just said something around toilet, or has he been to the toilet? When was the last time he went to the toilet? And I was like, oh, earlier. And then he just walks himself into the toilet, stands at the toilet, and does a standing up in the wee in the toilet. And I was like, amazing. Obviously, hold it in. I was like, brilliant, well done, babe. Then he just runs off. Didn't want to flush it on this occasion. Loves the flusher. Just runs off, and I'm like, that's our breakthrough moment. Every now and again, he just gives us a little something. So he said cake a few weeks ago, which was amazing, and today he's done this. And yeah,
Like, can I just clarify? Like, first ever, is it like first ever stand up toilet?
it's about maybe his third or fourth, but he does them like
Okay.
it's like a quarterly event. It's like I would love him to do it again tomorrow, but he won't. So, but I think
But
because we mentioned the word, he just went, all right.
yeah,
He walks it. He was already naked because we were trying to get him in the bath.
yeah.
Stands there, does his thing, walks off. I'm like, amazing, amazing. And then just to bring it back down to, isn't that great? Literally about 15 minutes later, when we're like, he's not getting in the bath, we've kind of given him a wash. We were going downstairs to get drinks and get him sorted. He then finishes his way on the floor in the hallway.
Hey,
But it's a win. So, but yeah,
yeah. Don't
I don't know why he didn't completely finish, but yeah, like he held on to that. Maybe it's just
don't
because
take
people are like, well done, well done. But
don't spoil it with that little bit. That is great because it's just showing understanding, and you just have those little bits of like, yeah. And
yeah,
this is why uh people kind of say like, oh, would you cure your kids autism if you could? And you kind of look back and go, there's not many highs I think I could get and joy in like when something so simple happens.
yeah,
So it does
so
bring
mundane.
it does bring your life a lot of joy. Oh, that's great, mate.
Yeah, so
Nice.
yeah, that was a really nice. I was like, oh,
But it just happens
grateful.
all within the you didn't use this word, but stress of bath or no bath or
Yeah,
and his pain and the teething. It just happens all in that thing.
yeah, it's kind of
All
my
with
winning
all
my
within that
challenge.
mix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I was like, all right, fine. He obviously doesn't want to, for some reason, and that was probably it. He probably like, I wanted to do a wee. I'd done a little
Nice.
bit of it. I didn't finish, but yeah. So he's washed. We washed him up again, and he's all good now, and he's probably downstairs watching trains or planes or
Yeah, I
water
love it.
parks or whatever. But yeah, that was
I love
that
it.
was a good win.
Yeah,
What
nice.
what was your challenge or one of your challenges this week?
Um, my cha I haven't touch wood. I haven't had that many big challenges with the kids. So I've been a bit more introspective about it this weekend. It's kind of a bit um about me and the traits that I've been looking at. So it's super interesting that we touched on that a bit earlier. I went shopping today. I had to get uh just the food shop. Had to go and get the specific stuff from Tesco's, and then I had to double back to the cheaper supermarket, so we can make ends meet. And I realized that I wasn't necessarily doing my own, uh sorry, my screen, well, I wasn't doing my regular letting people go first. I do that all the time. I am kindness and positivity first. Like, that's what's happening. Um, I want to do that. Sorry. Okay. I think Mabel has arrived home because I can hear singing in the household. So if that comes through, you're welcome. And sometimes the little bits of joy happen in and amongst the chaos. Sorry. So I'm going around and I'm noticing I'm not really. I don't know why. Um, yeah, like I said, I've always gone you go first because I have found that I can go around a supermarket and be not really phased by having to get rushed through it and get it done properly. I don't mind doing it at my own pace. I'm relatively relaxed. I think it's from teaching. My teaching vibe is very much I want everyone to be in a decent place, like emotionally, in a happy mood, get kids in a happy mood, they'll do some stuff in your class. So if I could spread that joy, like I treat interactions with other people as I'd like to be treated. I don't want an interaction in a supermarket to ruin my day. And that's really ingrained in me from like most of my adult life. I just was not doing it today. I don't know why. And a couple of experiences. Someone had a trolley. I didn't have a trolley because I was just picking up strawberries. So they put a trolley there. They kind of slowed down. They looked at me. I just walked straight in front, said thank you, and they tutted. I like they had slowed down. They'd looked at me. I'd taken that as a cue to mean you're going to let me go, but I didn't say, "Oh, is it okay to go?" Or and I feel like I'm super overanalyzing this experience. But from the tut, which I was with to my back to me, could have been nothing to do with me. Could have been the fact that they didn't have, I don't know, where was I? In the burger aisle, they didn't have like the fresh burgers that they wanted because they were out because of the people who had barbecues. I have no concept whether it's to do with me or not. All the way down that aisle towards the strawberries, I could feel sweat on the back of my neck. And I was like, oh my God, that guy thinks I'm an asshole. Right.
Mhm.
Another one. I'm going round in a different shop, going around the corner. I want to get past. There's a couple with their two primary school age kids. I guess they're about maybe 5 or 6 or something. I I want to get through. I haven't said excuse me. I just kind of like go like that, and the kids stop in front of me. And I go, oh, and the dad who's over here goes, oh, watch yourself. I said, oh, sorry, yeah. As I walk past, I hear again behind me. The mum goes, oh, it drives me mad, right? And I carry on walking. Again, sweaty back neck. I'm standing there. I was in that particular shop because I had to, nowhere had ice, surprisingly. So I just got in there on a chance that it was because of ice. Again, might have been the kids. The fact that the kids had stopped right in the middle of the thing drives the mum mad. She could have used the phrase about the fact that she wanted to go in to get something. It wasn't there. Drives me mad. Being in that shop drives me mad. No, I took it all on me, and it just ruined my mindset. And it hasn't happened for a long time. So I don't know if I was super aware of it, but it really resonated with me on the drive home about the kind of rejection sensitivity disorder that we'd chatted about. And I then started to play out other scenarios like driving, giving way, always let people out. I don't super get road rage because I take an approach to it as just like, well, I'll let you go. I'm sure you'll let me go. If you don't, I don't get too butthurt about it. I don't really want to get into a smash up. Like I just carry on. But it's just been that awareness that, oh, that was really challenging. But yeah, I don't know this again. I used that phrase confirmation bias before. It was just a really challenging trip to 3 shops for me, which isn't something that is really challenging, but I'm wondering
Mm.
if that's just because I didn't put the stuff out into the world that I normally do. Um, but yeah, it was a weird one. Um, but yeah, that
Oh.
was it was really challenging today, and layered on top of it, Mabel's been having her hair dyed today with her mum, um, and that is a long process because she does different bits and different colors. And it's also a sensory overload
Mm.
because it's smell, it's like the ammonia, and it's like physical on the hair and stuff. And she wears a t-shirt, which will become covered. And like by the end of it, there is dye like everywhere. The two of them just have a great time, but also it's a lot for both of them. Um, and I just walked in a couple of times and just had an interaction, which was fine, but just commented like, "Oh, is it going okay?" And she went, "Yeah." She was on her phone doing that, and I just was like, went back to what I was doing, sat down, felt a bit bad, and then replayed those things in the supermarket. It was like, you need to, this is you're over analyzing and you're not emoting in the way that you should. So yeah, that was yeah, it was a challenge because I don't like feeling like that. But yeah, it definitely felt the most I've noticed it. I don't know. Maybe doing this podcast is helping me to go, hang on a minute, probably wasn't you. But yeah,
Well, thanks for sharing, man. And yeah, that's kind of what
appreciate it.
we call this like a weekly parenting therapy session that we record for the potentially benefit others. Then
Yeah.
that's amazing. It sounds
Also,
like you're having a bad day though, and it's if you're okay to
yeah.
identify it as you're having a bit of a bad day, and I'm sure hopefully tomorrow you're
Yeah,
back.
maybe it's not some RSD traits. Maybe I just, yeah, was just a bit on it today. We had a pretty productive Sunday, to be honest. We got up early and took the dogs out, and I trialed that hack for Laura. Did I tell you about it before, about the shoes? You leave
Shoes?
it, you go out
Oh
somewhere.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Explain, because I
yeah.
think this is
So
brilliant.
it's like, so I saw it and I thought, "Pff, I don't know, give that a go. If your shoes on, you got something to do. Shoes are off. It's relaxing time. So get in from doing out. We call it an out in our house. And Laura will sometimes say to me, well, we've got 3 outs today. And I'll go, okay, well, if you want retirement in between, take shoes off. But today was like, we'll go walk the dogs, and then we'll come back and we've got some stuff to do, just household chores. And I say, should we keep our shoes on? Because I want to show some kind of solidarity. She's like, yeah, okay. We have been super productive. Now, I
Wow.
don't know if it's because of the shoes, but 100% it worked today. So keep your shoes on when you get back in from doing a thing. It feels like you've got stuff to do and you can be more productive. No, but again,
No, I like it.
doesn't doesn't it might not be a neurodiverse thing, but like I say with everything, if it kind of works for you, then give it a go.
It's a really good visual cue, isn't it? If you're a visual, I'm very
Mm.
visual, so me having shoes on, or because yeah, I don't have sort of skin sensitivity in the way that I think Frankie does. He'll take his shoes and socks off as soon as he feels comfortable. Or he thinks he's there to stay for more than 30 seconds. Shoes and socks are off. I do like walking around barefoot. If it's cold, I'll put socks on. Um, so yeah, because I'm very used to not having socks on most of the time, if I'm at home anyway. Um, Having shoes on would definitely probably get me thinking like, why are they on? You've
Oh,
got
we're
something to
going,
do.
hi, going somewhere. If I've got something to do. So
Yeah, no,
yeah,
it's a good hack.
but it occurs to me that I wanted to hear about one of your 3 words. Humble,
Mhm.
humble, wasn't it? Humble. You said
Okay,
humble?
yeah, humbled, yeah.
Jeez, my memory is terrible. Shared all of that challenge about my supermarket experience and forgot. It was humble, wasn't it?
Yeah, humble.
Right.
Or humbled,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm intrigued. I want to know what happened and how it worked for you.
Yeah, so on Wednesday, me and Amy, so Amy generally has day off in the week, usually it's a Wednesday. Um, on this Wednesday, the local council were hosting a parent engagement meeting for SEND kids in particular, um, down at the not town hall, the council offices. And Amy I can't remember how we got into it, or she got an invite to something. We couldn't do it. They sent us this one, so we just thought, "I'll come. Why not? Let's go." There was about
As
four.
invites as parents or something to do with
Oh no, yeah, it's
work.
basically just. I think because we access. I think maybe because it's either because we have an EHCP, or
Okay. Yeah, 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 yeah.
if because we access some of the services the council offer.
Yeah. Okay.
But this one was particularly around send children and provisions and services and whatever. So we went along, and basically it's where the social workers and the assistant social workers and other people in the council that work in with send kids can meet up with parents, and they put on a presentation from one of their suppliers. So in this instance, it was CAMS, which is the Children and
Okay.
Adolescents
Yeah.
Mental Health team.
Service. Yeah.
Yeah, service. Um, and yeah, she said straight off the bat, "Oh, hands up, CAMS as a general rule is going to be set up for neurotypical people in terms of a lot of their services." But she says, obviously, we can. I'm going to explain to you who we are, what we do, and obviously, we do help people that are neurodiverse and on the spectrum, etc. And actually, that part of the presentation was really good. But the reason for my words was I like going to those events because we then get to interact with some of the parents. So there was, I think, 3 or 4 other
Okay.
mums in the room, and obviously they then start talking about their situations, and then I just sit there in a place of, self-evaluating. I'm like, there is a saying where they say there's always someone worse off than you. No matter how you feel it and how bad you feel at a particular time, there will always be someone. So we sit there and we're like, we know we have our challenges with Frankie, with what he does and doesn't like and whatever else. But then when you hear other people's stories, it just kind of makes you think, "God, do you know what? We're winning this week because we don't have to do that." But as I then say to Amy, I go, look, so just because we're winning on this side and they're winning on that side doesn't mean that things that we think that we're doing really well on could be things that they're not doing particularly well on. So we're like, God damn it, I wish my kid would eat more. And I'm like, well, Frankie will literally eat any fruit we've ever given him. He's never turned down, whatever.
Amazing. Yeah, yeah.
But then they'll be like, but their child talks. But their
Oh,
child is toilet trained. So I'm like, it's just the humbling thing. So we were there, we were discussing things, and some people will be like this. But yeah, there was a lady there has 19 different care providers that deal with her child.
wow.
And I sit there like
Uh-huh.
19 conversations, and she was like, and most of them contradict each other. And what do we do? And it's just like, so yeah, basically just kind of felt
Yeah.
humbled on that. And then the second bit of the conversation, which some of the social workers were then, obviously GDPR is followed. They don't say, oh, Billy Jones and
Yes.
do
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
They just be like, oh, there was a situation where, because they were then talking to CAMS, asking how CAMS can help some of their young people that they're looking after and helping work with. And the reason why it's prevalent to what happened to me today, they were saying, well, there was this one kid that got referred to CAMS because they thought potentially maybe some mental health issues. Sorry, I hate the word issues. Challenges. I hate the word issues.
It's fine.
They were having some mental health challenges. They'd been a bit different at school. But at home, although the parents agreed that they were being a bit different, that they were sort of being able to manage a bit better than they were at school. And basically, it was getting to the point where um, this child might get their place suspended. And I was like, that's really posh language for, I'm pretty sure means expelled. So they were just asking them
Yes.
whatever else. And then they were giving this example of basically a kid that went into, got referred to CAMS, and it was like, we can try and work it through. They were doing some sessions. Um, they lost their place, they got expelled. They found out months later when they finally got to get round to having like an MOT with the GP and whatever, they'd had toothache. The kid got expelled because they were non-verbal, couldn't communicate. They were acting out differently. At home, they were obviously probably not as overwhelmed because they're at home, they're in a safe place with their parents, but the school, they just couldn't cope. The school didn't know how to handle it. The school expelled them, and they found out months later that kid got kicked out of school because they had toothache, and they just couldn't explain that to their parents. And at that point,
So,
and just saying it again, I just feel this wash of, oh, humbling. Like I
yeah,
thought I've had a challenging weekend.
obviously, yeah, I mean,
So I'm like eye-opening, humbling,
so
but also progress. That
yeah,
is my
I
week.
love it. Yeah, yeah. And as harsh as this is going to sound, sometimes that comparison helps you through and just going, oh, well, he does actually eat lots of fruit.
Mm,
Now,
mm,
I think that's something about that being human. Obviously, I don't get into the nature of that particular case because you said it was an example, but there are lots of examples, and I'm sure there are parents out there going through some similar challenging stuff about permanent exclusions.
mm.
Um, you're right; they don't use the term expulsion anymore. They do a permanent exclusion or like a managed move, or you can
Reduced
be removed,
timetable.
and
Yeah.
yeah, homeschooling and stuff like that. And there's always a balance between, like, the welfare of the child, but, we're not trying to lean into too much politics, but there's been a removal of services, over a number of years, and then that's been complicated
Mhm.
for a lot of neurodiverse and actually, to be fair, in terms of CAMS, all children and young
Chisel,
people.
yeah. Well, that
Um,
one of the other things that was
um,
eye-opening as well was they were talking around, they were asking a question. One of the services that they were both using has been turned off, and the
mm, mm.
people that came in were like, "Is it?"
Yeah,
And they're like, "Yeah." And it was basically
oh,
my too long didn't read was the social workers were like, the floodgates are about to open because a place that we would usually go to before we come to you now doesn't exist. So
yes, yes,
saddle
yes,
up,
yes,
you know,
yes.
it's gonna get
Yeah,
busy
yeah,
your
yeah.
way. And I'm just like, again, you're just like, But it was really good
I
that obviously they were being open and honest around that in that particular meeting.
yeah,
Obviously, there was only
yeah, yeah, yeah.
4 or 5 kids being represented and by parents, but
It's
obviously I get to talk about it here, and I am going to write to my local counsellor and be like, "What is going on with
yeah,
this
of course.
service? Why is it not there?" I know it's not their fault. I know it's not this counsellor's particular fault.
Yep.
Oh yeah, like
Organize, and
exactly.
those spaces are important because people can come together.
Mm,
I will say this phrase that I like to keep coming back to, with Laura particularly, about, mental health, but also kind of like self-esteem and stuff, and just generally, like, comparison is the thief of joy. Looking like,
so good.
comparing how good or bad something is with against someone else or something else robs you of the thing. It's why I have always said, kids always ask us all, so what's your favorite film? And they routinely, I give an answer like, all right, well, here's the first thing. Don't really like ranking the best thing of a thing. The reason I don't like doing that is because I really like those things. So
Mm,
I don't want to tell you if I prefer film A or film X. I'm not sure why I've used those two examples, um, but because I like them in different, like, it's all just different lovely flavors of lovely ice cream. However, in this space, as a parent of neurodiverse kids, I want, have felt I've wanted to have those experiences and share that common ground and quietly feel, oh my goodness, it's not like that for us. That's a different challenge from what I'm having.
mm,
But equally, here's our common ground. Oh, we do this. Have you tried this? We do that. And like not trying to go and solve all the problems, just ask, how are you finding communication?
yeah.
And if you can get past, it depends on your relationship and a whole bunch of communication. Obviously, I'm thinking hypothetically, but if you can get past the, oh no, they're really good actually, presentation of some parents, then you can actually get to the point of just going, this is, you know, this is really, really, really tough. Um, and if I'm honest, I don't really feel I had as many conversations as I would have potentially liked, particularly with other like dads or stepfathers or whatever, because you know, insert well trodden path about opening up emotionally and also
Mm,
mothers being main caregivers. Um, so yeah, I mean, uh, yeah, that sounds like there's a lot of people in your community, of parents of neurodiverse or send kids, you said specifically, who are having a challenging time. But like you said, not in the way you're having a challenging time. But yeah, that comparison in this context can provide like, you know, companionship and
yeah,
just that
totally.
thought and that feeling that you're not doing it on your own. But equally, there is a sense of, oh, we don't have that challenge. There's something human about it. But I would normally say, do your thing,
Mhm,
and that's how you do it. I I don't necessarily like it anymore, but something I used to do when I used to take the kids to soft play, and Oscar would really struggle, but it was a safe space for him to go at that time. Was his diagnosis and his neurodiversity is not the problem. Other
it's the world.
other people, yeah, the world's
It's
not
the
made
environment.
for him. So I need to manage that and not spend the time looking at someone have their kid come down the slide who's younger than Oscar, and then goes, "Oh, did you enjoy that? Yeah, I want to go and do it again." And they run back up and not go, "Well, I can't do that.
Mhm,
Why have I come
mhm.
here? It's awful." Just be very happy that we got in, we
Mm,
took shoes off, we
yeah,
went and had some soft play, and we
we
came back and we
engaged.
didn't deregulate. That is a took me years because comparison, thief of joy in that moment, you
Mm,
know?
mm, mm,
But yeah, it's yeah, it's good. Um, I need to be writing all of these down, to be
mm,
fair.
yeah. But
It just
no,
seems to be as a habit.
it is, yeah, I
I'm
think
glad
it's
I'm glad I'm glad I'm glad you raised it though, because I think it's quite truthful. and honest that like I'm glad we don't have that particular challenge.
Mm. Well, yeah,
You know, because
I just say to
every
yeah, it's everyone's got a different challenge. That's why I just say to I was like, I
yeah
can't. I say I can feel. I say I feel empathy very quickly, very easily. I want people to sort of like me, get on with me, feel that I can help them or whatever. So yeah, I could be like, oh yeah, well, but I'm also realizing, listening to other videos online, that I say I'm a good listener and I can be, but I have to set up the parameters of how this conversation has to go now. I'm like, because naturally it is said people with potential ADHD tendencies, as soon as a challenge is brought up, we will try and let that person know quickly. We can identify or resonate with that because something happened to us. But at that time, the story is not about us; it is
yeah
about them. But it's a way of trying to
yeah
connect to people, whatever else. So, um, when we sort of compare, I'm just like, we can say, "You had that challenge. I hear you. I've heard you. I can't resonate exactly. I have this challenge, do you?" Like, it just to try and help them and go, if someone's feeling low,
yeah
be like, "Look, it sounds like it's challenging at the moment. Um, everyone has challenges." And I'm not saying that in a, yours aren't bad. I'm just saying, like, you're not the only person that feels like this. I might look like I've got it together at the moment, but when I get home later, you know, he might have bad teeth, he might
yeah
have this,
yeah
he might not want to bath, he might not
yeah
want to do this,
yeah
he might not want to do any of this stuff. So it's just, yeah, it's just, but it's, again, what you say, it's really hard to try and find the initial in to let people know that you kind of understand, and are here to talk. Um, but yeah, so I'm really looking forward to the next one in a kind of, I
yeah.
don't even know how to describe it kind of way, but I'm getting some critical data there about how my general counsel is being run, the services are working, but also meeting other parents
Yes.
because, again, as you say, organize, organize, organize. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, and it's going to be a challenge. And
And
my local elections are next year, and I'm really tempted. Do I actually just try and run as an independent and just be like, I'm literally just going to try and work on education?
ooh,
Um,
ooh.
but yeah,
Well, there's definitely some stuff there that I would look at. I think, yeah, we won't get super political. There are people, I think, in the podcast space. Well, we can talk about it, of course, but nothing's off the table. But I think I'd be interested to see what's going on, particularly with your local council,
mm.
um,
I'll
and
do
in
some
fact the county
research.
council. Yeah, yeah. But
Well, I've
equally, uh, what was I going to say? Yeah, I just think it would be an interesting conversation with relation to that. But yeah, that's right. I was going to say there are people in this space who are particularly clued up on a lot of government, both national government and or central government and local government stuff, in terms of things that are happening with like EHCP things, legality,
mm,
things
mm,
that are
mm.
changing, and we need to push people in those directions because if they're having those challenges, there are people we can do that. Um, I haven't got much to report in terms of diagnosis check-in. We completed Laura her referral. We're about halfway through Mabel's. Uh, as of today, the cogs are worrying about mine, but maybe I was about to say maybe put everyone else first, but then that's just got my I've just got that thing going on again. Oh, this is a journey today. Okay, so yeah, much to report for you?
We so straight after that meeting on Wednesday, as Frankie had been sick about a week at this point,
Mm-hmm.
we emailed his Senko and she's like, "Yep, we'll start the paperwork
Cool.
our side. We'll try
Nice.
and I'll do the bits I can so we can try and wrap it up on our side before the end of term, and then see how that gets going." For me, yes, I'm as I'm listening to more and more podcasts and whatever else. Again, I'm kind of happy being a stripy horse if that is the case, but it's also nice to know if you're a zebra. So I think I'm gonna book the appointment and start the however many years long wait that will be. But yeah, so if get Frankie rocking and rolling first, and then I'll worry about me. See what I did there.
Nice. Nice. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I'm going to extend the metaphor and say I'm not even in the wilderness yet. I think
well, that's
it's. I
cool.
think I. I think I need to make an expedition, but let's just go with that.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, man. My favorite named segment. I look ahead to the week ahead. Anything big coming up for you?
Off the top of my head, I don't believe so. Just trying to have a. I don't think we're out or anything, and there's anything in particular happening out of the ordinary. So, just conscious that there's only a couple of weeks left before the summer now. So I'm kind of now
Can I can
thinking
I call can I call that something out of the ordinary is going to happen, and it's going to be joyful. It'll be fine.
that would always
Um,
be preferred and most optimal. But I'll have to say.
cool.
What about you?
Me, I just opened up the app to have a look at. We Yeah, so there's quite a bit of solo parenting.
Okay.
For me, Laura is going to a the like flower show at Hampton Court with her mum. They kind of Her
Nice.
mum's a big gardening flowers fan, so she takes her out to that for her birthday every year. So that'll be a full day. So I'll do some sort of wraparound parenting, tag teaming with my mum. She'll come in and do some stuff. And they also have to do something else the day before, so they might be away for that whole period. So we'll see how some of that goes. And then uh, the England Euros start on uh, well, I don't know when it starts, but England's first game uh, is Saturday.
Oh,
So I
really?
watched that with my daughter. Yeah, she's such a big football fan, but she is part of the school year that were kind of into football, and then that summer she's been into football ages, but then that summer, then England won the Euros, and then she was like, and then loads of people wanted to play, but she's kind of the year kind of up. So, but watching England, men's and women's, we get into it. So there's some emotional regulation there.
Amazing.
So yeah, and I would very much try not to make it football um, a football analysis podcast, but it might pop up in
Inter.
the challenge or wins. So yeah, uh, nothing I'm apprehensive about. So just some
Amazing.
stuff, but that we'll have to manage. Um, well, I think we can say not applicable to your bath time
Yeah, not
nudge, but
today.
it is not. It is not a loss. It's just a um, just a management thing. Um, might message you after this some summertime bath stuff that I remembered uh, for Oscar,
Okay.
which basically I don't need to message you. Tub, hose, garden. I
Well, I've
will.
actually got a
I
paddling
will.
pool set up, but it doesn't even want to get in
I
that.
well, it was. I'll send you. I'll try and find and send you the photo because it was. I thought I had absolutely hacked it. I was like, this guy, we're getting in a bath. We're doing the stuff. This is amazing. 10 seconds later, it felt like head to toe mud.
Oh, no.
Absolute. And I look back on it fondly now, but at the time I was in absolute rage. I was like, oh, yeah, no. But there's a series of photos where it goes from good to bad, but then to incredible because there's a look on Oscar's face where they are having the best time. But at the moment, I don't think I was able to see that joy as much. I do now, but yeah, I'll have
Amazing.
to go through. I'll go through and find it.
Amazing.
But last week, it depends really. We were good. A lot of it was independent for O. They requested that Laura came and did the um, shampoo and conditioner again, um, but then requested that she went out while Oscar did it, and she. I remember calling on it and going, "No, I'll stay here. You will do it." And then what happened was, it was better. I didn't really get the data on whether Oscar did it all independently or not, but I don't really mind. We didn't have some emotional dysregulation, and we definitely did have some excellent soft hair and cut nails without issue. So
That's a mad win.
yeah, for me, it was. I don't know. I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, to me, this is a great win. I wasn't there one-on-one, so it's kind of like, what's my criteria? I'm getting like you in the first week where I said I wouldn't be. Like, I would much rather Laura didn't have to come and do it. I told you before, like, there's too much sensory overload and frustration, and but yeah, we wrote it out. So I'm gonna go 8.
I think that's your best
Last
bar
week.
score yet, no?
Yeah, but I'm also just realizing that it's an 8 because I didn't have to do half of it. But there we go. It's fine. We could beat Subcritical. So I'm off to do another one in a minute.
You can only play the game that's in front of you.
Indeed. Well, indeed.
All right, mate. Well, I hope you have a great Dadverse week.
Yeah, have a lovely time in your NeuroDADverse, and we will catch up soon. That's about it for the NeuroDADverse. We'll be back next week.
If you laughed, cried, or nodded in tired agreement, don't forget to follow us and leave a review. It helps more parents find us.
Just remember, you're doing great.
You are enough, and you are definitely not alone.
Got a question or want to share a story? Drop us a message on Instagram or email us at neurodadverse@gmail.com. Look after yourselves.